श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड श्री गिरिराज गोवर्धन की। ब्रजभूमि से वृंदावन धाम की, मथुरा द्वारकापुरी धाम की, नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जय। पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र श्री जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। जय जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी की जय। गंगा मैया जमुना मैया की, भक्ति देवी श्रीमती तुलसी महारानी की, समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय। कलयुग पावन गोलोक केर प्रेमधन युग धर्म श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की। शील प्रभुपाद गुरु पूजा की जय। निधाय गौर प्रेमानंदे। All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories, all glories, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Gaur Hari Bo.
Uddhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Jamuna Tira Vanacharin Jamuna Tira Vanacharin Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Jaya Vishnupad Pramans Parivrajacharya Stotra Sutta Shrimad His Divine Grace Abhay Charanaravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai The Lord Shri Radha Gopinath Ki Jai Shri Gaurnitai Ki Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol All grace assembled devotees All grace assembled devotees All grace assembled devotees All grace to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga
Hare Krishna. So we are very happy to welcome a very wonderful Vaishnava here. So we have amongst us His Grace Sri Gauranga Prabhu. Sri Gauranga Prabhu is a disciple of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, and Prabhuji is currently serving as Temple President in Nairobi, Kenya. Prabhuji is a very illustrious, wonderful leader, taking so many responsibilities in ISKCON, and he completed GBC college course. He is Bhakti Sastri, Bhakti Vaibhav teacher, and he is one of very sought after personalities in Kenya. Devotees want to hear him, and they follow him, and very nicely Prabhuji is cultivating many devotees there. So we are very fortunate that Sri Gauranga Prabhu is in ISKCON Chowpatty today. Let's welcome him in our traditional style by loudly chanting 3 times. Hari Bol. Hari. Hari.
Hare Krishna. So it gives me great pleasure to be with all of you today. We hear so many wonderful things about Shri Radha Gopinath Mandir and its devotees. And it's a real great pleasure to be with all of you here today. And I would like to thank His Grace Baldev Prabhu and the management for giving me an opportunity to speak something amongst all of you here today. So we'll be reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 4, entitled Vidura Approaches Maitreya. Text number 12. Saesha sadho charamo bhavanam. Saesha sadho charamo bhavanam. Asaditaste madanugrahoyat. Asaditaste madanugrahoyat. Yanmam nilokan raha utsrijantam. Yanmam nilokan raha utsrijantam. Dishtya dadrishvan visadanuvrityam. Dishtya dadrishvan visadanuvrityam. Saesha sadho charamo bhavanam. Asaditaste madanugrahoyat. Yanmam nilokan raha utsrijantam. Dishtya dadrishvan visadanuvrityam. Vaishnavis. Word for word meaning. Sa, that. Esha, of those. Sadhu, O honest one. Charamam, the ultimate, Bhavanam, of all your incarnations, as Vasu, Asaditam, now achieved, Te, onto you, Mat, my, Anugraham, mercy, Yat, as it is, Yat, because, Mam, me, Nilokan, the planet of the conditioned souls, Raham, in seclusion, Utsrijantam, while quitting, Dishtyam, by seeing, the Drishvan, what you have seen, Vishada Anuvrityam, by unflinching devotion. Narayana Namaskrityam, Naram Chaiva Narotamam, Deving Saraswating Vyasam, Tato Jayamudirayet, Nashta Praya Sabhadreshu, Nityam Bhagavata Sevayam, Bhagavatyutama Shloke, Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 4, Text number 12, Translation and Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. O honest one, your present life is the last and the supermost, because in this term of life you have been awarded my ultimate favor. Now you can go to my transcendental abode, Vaikuntha, by living this universe of conditioned living entities. Your visit to me in this lonely place because of your pure and unflinching devotional service is a great boon for you. Purport. When a person is fully conversant with knowledge of the Lord as far as can be known by a perfect living entity in the liberated state, he is allowed to enter into the spiritual sky, where the Vaikuntha planets exists. The Lord was sitting in a lonely place, just about to disappear from the vision of the inhabitants of this universe, and Uddhava was fortunate to see him even at that time, and thus received the Lord's permission to enter Vaikuntha. The Lord is everywhere at all times, and his appearance and disappearance are merely the experience of the inhabitants of a particular universe. He is just like the sun. The sun does not appear or disappear in the sky. It is only in the experience of men that in the morning the sun rises and in the evening the sun sets. The Lord is simultaneously both in Vaikuntha and everywhere within and without Vaikuntha. Om Ajnanatirmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tang Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitangstam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaham. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrindam. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Saisha sadho charamo bhavanam asaditaste madanugraho yat yanmam nilokan raha utsrijantam dishtya dadrishvan vishadanuvrityam. O honest one, your present life is the last and the supermost, because in this term of life you have been awarded my ultimate favor. Now you can go to my transcendental abode, Vaikuntha, by living this universe of conditioned living entities. Your visit to me in this lonely place because of your pure and unflinching devotional service is a great boon for you. Hare Krishna. We are hearing the words of the Supreme Personality of Godhead to his great devotee, Uddhava. Uddhava is recounting these words to Vidura. We heard from the beginning of this canto how Vidura went on pilgrimage after being insulted by Duryodhan, and he left Hastinapur. After leaving Hastinapur, he went on pilgrimage. He saw all the great places of pastimes of the Lord. And as he was on this pilgrimage, he met Uddhava. And being so happy meeting such a great devotee, Vidura inspired remembrance of the Lord in Uddhava. And so for the last 2 chapters we've been hearing Uddhava recalling all these pastimes of the Lord. He spoke about the Lord's pastimes in Vrindavan, then he spoke about the Lord's pastimes in Mathura, and then Dwarka, and he mentioned how the residents of Dwarka, they all went to Prabhas Kshetra, and in Prabhas Kshetra, they wound up their pastimes by fighting amongst themselves. And so the Lord, seeing now that his work is complete, he retired in a secluded place, and in that place, Uddhava came. And so Uddhava is speaking about the words that the Lord told him at this moment of time. And so the Lord is congratulating Uddhava that your devotional service, being pleased by that devotional service, you have been given entrance into Vaikuntha by myself. He's saying you have got my ultimate favor. And that favor means no longer remaining present in this material world. So we heard yesterday how Uddhava is an eternal associate of the Lord. But the Lord here is telling him, you will be able to get into Vaikuntha when you leave this world. So Acharyas, they explain that this Uddhava that the Lord is speaking to is actually a partial representation of the Nitya Siddha Uddhava, the eternal associate of the Lord. He was a Vasu, and as a Vasu, he incarnated again as Uddhava. And so the Lord is telling him, now you will be able to go to Vaikuntha. Actually, Uddhava is always with the Lord, eternal associate, always in Vaikuntha. But here, because of the devotional service that is shown by Uddhava, the Lord is very happy and is congratulating him. So Srila Prabhupada mentions here that this entrance into Vaikuntha is only possible when one knows about the science of Lord Krishna. Bhagavat Tattva Vijnanam. Until and unless one knows that science, one cannot enter into Vaikuntha. There are many paths to know the absolute truth. We've been hearing that the absolute truth has 3 phases, Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagavan. And each and every phase has a particular path that is recommended to experience that particular phase in its fullness. So, the Gyan Marg, when one practices that, then one can experience the Brahman aspect to its fullness. When one practices the Yoga Marg, then one can experience the Paramatma aspect of the Absolute Truth to its fullness. But the complete aspect of the Absolute Truth, Bhagavan, is not very easy to understand. Everyone is searching for God and they're getting misled. That's one of the symptoms of the ages of Kali Yuga. The sages of Naimisaranya, when they were outlining and foreseeing the people of Kali Yuga, they mentioned this fact. They said, Prayanal Payusha Sabhya Kalavasmin Yuge Jana Manda Sumanda Matayo Manda Bhagya Yupadrutam. The people of the age of Kali Yuga will have all but short lives, Alpa Ayusha. They will be quarrelsome, Kalav. They will be lazy, Manda. Sumanda Mataya. They will be misguided. Manda Bhagya, unlucky. And above all, always disturbed, Upadruta. See? So when they said lazy, they meant lazy in spiritual life. The Vedic scriptures, they say, human life begins when one says, Athato Brahma Jigyasa, when one is going to inquire about the Absolute. That's when human life begins. But the sages of Naimisaranya, they said people are going to be lazy, they're not going to ask about this. Recently, I was reading an article, and there they had done some studies comparing between the people who were living 20 years before and who are living now. So most of us have experienced that time. Yeah. So children were more inquisitive before. They would look in the sky and ask, what are these twinkling things in the sky? But now they're saying it has become so bad that nobody even knows there are twinkling things in the sky. Yeah. They don't see, they don't look up. Yeah. Everyone's always looking down. Yeah. And walking with their thumbs. They don't use their feet anymore. They walk with their thumbs and they're always looking down. Right? And big cities, now they have big signs on the floor and also at eye level. When you come to a crossing, it warns you, please look up. Now you're crossing the road. It's become that bad. We may find it funny, but actually when I came this time, like a few days back, I came to India and we had caught an auto, right? From, I think it was a train station in Mira Road. We came off the train station and we were going to the temple in the auto. And I was shocked and horrified because the auto driver was on, I think maybe it was YouTube or Instagram, one of the two, and he was watching reels while driving the rickshaw. And I was like, this is now the height of distraction. Yes. I mean, I've never seen something like that. And then I started noticing all auto drivers were doing that. I'm like, okay, it's not one person, it's each and every auto guy who is just on the phone. He just looks up to ask what the destination is, and then he's like, okay. What? Yeah, that's how bad it has become. So this article was mentioning how people had a curiosity for natural wonders before. Now everything's on the phone, people don't bother, they just want to know what's there. Attention span has become very short. Yeah. So lazy, manda. And don't want to know about the absolute truth. Even just the material world, people don't want to know. Yeah. Some places I go to and I tell them I'm from Nairobi, they're like, where is that? I say, Kenya. Where is that? Africa. South Africa? No. African continent. It has 52 countries. Yeah. So then they're like, okay. Because so much distracted. And if there are some who are inquisitive from that, who are not lazy, who want to know what is the meaning of life, manda bhagya, they're unlucky, they get some hocus pocus guys who tell them, yes, this is spirituality, you will achieve liberation by meditating on a red dot spread on a white wall, some pseudo spiritual kind of thing. So manda bhagya, they are unlucky, misguided. The world is full of cheaters and cheated, as Srila Prabhupada said. So even if someone is inquisitive, if they're unlucky, they'll get in contact with someone who will take them even further away from where they started. Therefore the Lord says, Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschid yatati siddhaye yatatam api siddhanam kaschin mam veti tattvata. Amongst thousands, amongst men, one may inquire about the absolute truth. And of those who have begun their inquiry for the absolute truth, hardly one knows the reality or knows Krishna in truth. So therefore, all you devotees sitting in this hall today are amongst those thousands of thousands. Because we've come to the right place. Inquiry about the absolute from the right source. Therefore the Lord, He gives this independence to desire. Here, Uddhava is being congratulated by the Lord. He's saying, for you coming at this time, meeting me is a great boon. Because it will mean now you get to go to Vaikuntha. I give you permission to enter into Vaikuntha. You've got my ultimate favor. The independence is there. Uddhava desired to reach the place where the Lord was. That was his endeavor. But seeing his endeavor, the Lord is reciprocating. So, in this world, we find of those who desire, they are able to make progress. If the desire is not there at all, then progress will be stunted. So when we desire, then there is also the desire to reach the Lord according to our desire. So therefore there are so many paths. There is the path of karma, there is the path of jnana, there is the path of yoga. How to engage in bhakti also is based on our desire. The Lord gives instructions, and from those instructions, we choose which ones to follow. And according to our choice, then we get an appropriate result. So we find in the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord gives the ultimate way to reach Him. He says, Mayeva mana adatsva mayi buddhim niveshaya nivashyasya mayeva ata urdhanakshanshaya. Always think of me, 24 hours a day. Put your mind absorbed in thoughts of me. And in this way you will surely reach me. But then we tell the Lord, then who will pay the rent? Who will pay the bills? What about my other responsibilities? If I'm always sitting and thinking of you, then when will I think of the other things that I have to do? And so the Lord says, Ata chetvam imam dharmyam sangramam na karishyasi. Sorry, not that one. Ata chittam samadhatum na saknoshi maistiram abhyasa yogena tato mam ichaptum dhananjaya. He says, Ata chittam samadhatum na saknoshi. If you cannot do this, if you cannot always think of me, if you cannot absorb your mind always in me, then carry out the regulative principles of devotional service. And in this way, you will develop a desire to attain me and come to me. So what are these regulative principles of devotional service? Srila Prabhupada very simply writes in the Perport. What are these regulative principles? He says one should rise early in the morning, take bath, which apparently many people don't do. That's why Srila Prabhupada has to spell it out. Take bath, go to the temple or prayer room, offer prayers to the Lord, chant His names, collect some flowers and fruits to offer to the Lord, do this offering, and then carry on with the rest of the day. He tells this, Srila Prabhupada writes it. These are the regulative principles of devotional service. And in this way, gradually one can increase one's absorption in the Lord. But there are people who cannot even do that. Right? And so the Lord therefore says, if you cannot engage in the regulative principles of devotional service, then you should work for me. And offer the results of your work to me. And if you cannot even do that, then cultivate knowledge. They say knowledge is power. So cultivate knowledge, Lord says. This is why it is so difficult, it is not so easy to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Srila Prabhupada, he is writing, when is that understanding complete? When one comes to the liberated stage. Lord Krishna speaks about this liberated stage. Brahma bhuta prasannatmana sochiti nakangshati sama sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhaktim labate param. When one comes to that stage, then one can think about devotional service. Right? We are in this world known as Jiva Bhuta, conditioned living entities. So here, therefore, Lord is saying this world of conditioned living entities, Nilokan, those who are Jiva Bhuta. And He comes to teach us how to become Brahma Bhuta, how to become liberated. In that state, one is happy. Everyone's looking for happiness, but they don't know where to find happiness. They don't even know what is happiness. So just like someone who is being tortured, there's one means of torture where they cover your face with a towel and they pour water. So basically it's drowning without a pool. All right. And the person struggling, and then they remove the towel. And he takes a big breath. So in the material world, we're getting so much misery, we're getting so much suffering, and temporary relief from that suffering or that misery, we take it to be happiness, but that's not happiness. Yes. It's just cessation of misery. But those who are liberated, the Brahma Bhutas, they know what is happiness. Na sochati, na kangshati. They lament for nothing, nor do they hanker for anything. See, the whole world is absorbed in lamentation and hankering. We find many times people here, the young generation, they want to be superstars. Whether it's in Bollywood, whether it's in singing, whether it's in dancing, whether it's cricket, or any other sport, they all want to be superstars. They're hankering for that. Right? For the name, the fame, the glory. Right? Or someone who was in that and then lost everything, they're lamenting. Oh, I used to get so many contracts and so many shows and so many sponsorships and now I have nothing. They're lamenting. We find this hankering and lamentation going on constantly. But those who are liberated, they have no such hankering and lamentation. And then they are able to engage in devotional service. Mad bhaktim labate param. Therefore, the Lord in the Bhagavad Gita has outlined how one can engage in devotional service, at what level can they enter into the understanding of the absolute truth. Bhaktyamam abhijanati yavanyascha smitatvata. Lord says, only through devotional service can one understand me as I am. So, reading all that and hearing all this, we may say, then what are we doing here? No, we are not liberated. We are not free from, okay, at least I am not. Maybe there are some esteemed devotees who are on that level. But I am not liberated. I am not free from lamentation and hankering. So then, how can I even begin to understand about the absolute truth and what am I doing here? Right? In this temple, trying to hear about the Lord. What is the point if it's so difficult? Thousands of men, from them, thousands of those who have started, one may achieve perfection. It's very hard. Just like I hear, to get into an IAS or IPS service here, it's very difficult. There are millions of applicants. From the millions, they filter out. Few posts, millions of applicants. And some people, they try 3 times, 4 times, 10 times to get that position, get that service, and still fail. And others, they just say, oh, no, this is not my cup of tea, let me try something else. Right? So in devotional service, if it's the same, if it's so difficult to understand Krishna, if it's so rare for someone to actually hear Uddhava, he's on that level, Lord Krishna is granting him admission, yes, please come to Vaikuntha. That's why we are reading about him. He's no ordinary devotee. He has perfected devotional service. Therefore, he is being awarded that favor by the Lord. Then what about us? So for us, the Lord came again. He spoke the Bhagavad Gita. In the Bhagavad Gita, he mentioned how rare devotional service is and how only through devotional service we can understand him. So the Lord is difficult to understand, but by his mercy, he has made it very easy. Just like an exam may be very difficult to pass, but if the teacher desires, can grant an exemption. No? They can grant an exemption from that exam. Okay, you don't need to study. So similarly, the Lord, ordinarily by studying the scripture, he is very difficult to understand. Vedeshu durlabham adurlabham atma bhakto. But he has made it easy. Lord came as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and taught how we can understand this complete aspect of the absolute truth. How we can enter into Vaikuntha through this simple process, simple but not easy, simple process of chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Narottam Das Thakur says this is the highest treasure. Golokera Prema Dhan, Harinam Sankirtan. Right? The Lord came with this highest treasure, with the backdoor key. Srila Prabhupada said, I have the backdoor key. If you just follow my instructions, then the back door will be open. And therefore, that's our endeavor here. We are coming here, we are hearing Srila Prabhupada's words, we're trying to follow his instructions. And through that, the mercy, the exemption comes. Just like here, Lord is telling Uddhava, Mad Anugraha, by my mercy. I have given you that mercy. So the mercy of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is there if we take the name, the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. See? He has come personally to wake us up. Jiva jago, Gaura Chandra bole, Kota nidra jao maya, Pishachira kole. He's saying, how long will we sleep in this lap of Maya? We should wake up. And further he says, Eneche oshadi maya nasibaro lagi, Harinama Mahamantra lao tumi magi. This is the oshadi, the medicine in this conditioned state that we are in, where we are sleeping in the lap of Maya. To wake up, come out. And therefore he's saying, please accept this Harinam Mahamantra. So, Srila Prabhupada, he coined this term, chant and be happy. If we understand this, we understand, yes, through chanting, everything will come. This be happy is the state of Brahma Bhuta. His Prasannatma, he's always happy. Yeah. So if we simply chant, then from chanting to be happy, how is it possible? Srila Prabhupada explains in the first canto. Shinvantam svakata Krishna punya shravana kirtanam hridyantastahya badrani vidunoti suritsatam. Just the desire is needed to hear about the transcendental messages of the Lord, which are virtuous in themselves. And when that desire is there in the heart, I want to hear about Lord Krishna accelerates the whole process. He says, oh, there's someone who's eager to hear about me, I will help them. So vidunoti, within the heart, he is cleaning. We also don't have to clean. Sometimes devotees, they analyze and they paralyze themselves through analysis. Oh, I have so many dirty things in the heart. When will all this come out? I'm maintaining so many things, that are not conducive for devotional service. When will they come out? But actually Lord Krishna is saying you don't need to work on that side. You need to work on the side of the eagerness to hear. And then vidunoti, the Lord sitting in the heart, he starts cleaning. Right? And when he starts cleaning, then almost all those dirty things within the heart, by regularly hearing about this Bhagavatam, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, all that is in the heart almost completely removed. What is not conducive, what is not favorable. And one becomes free from the effects of lust and greed. Tada rajastamo bhava kama lobhadayasche. That effect of lust and greed, hankering and lamentation. One becomes free from that. Yes. There is no hankering and there is no lamentation. So we see, just by hearing the transcendental messages of the Lord, one can come to the Brahmabhuta stage. And therefore Sutta Goswami then mentions, Evam prasanna manaso bhagavat bhakti yogata bhagavat tattva vijnanam mukta sangasya jayate. Then the happy part comes. See? So we begin from chant and then be happy. The happy part comes. Evam prasanna manaso. The mind is happy because one is situated in goodness, no lamentation, no hankering. In that state, Bhagavat Tattva Vijnanam, one can truly understand the science of Krishna. And therefore Srila Prabhupada says here, when a person is fully conversant with knowledge of the Lord as far as can be known by a perfect living entity in the liberated state, he is allowed to enter into the spiritual sky where the Vaikuntha planets exist. And this process is what our acharyas have given us, what Srila Prabhupada has given. Every day, chanting the holy names of the Lord, hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam, in the association of devotees, worshipping the deity, staying in a holy place like this temple. And through that, gradually, over time, consistency, over time, then evam prasanna manaso. One is able to come to this state where one can understand fully, as much as is possible, by a Brahmabhuta to understand the Lord, and then get entrance into Vaikuntha. So the whole process has been given to us. All that is required is our diligence in adhering to the process, our enthusiasm in carrying on with the process. The process works 110%. Uddhava is showing the ultimate award by following this process. He is meeting Lord Krishna in seclusion. He is one of the two people who saw Krishna at that time. Maitreya was also there, but he was at the back. It was as if Uddhava and Lord Krishna are there on their own. It's private time with Lord Krishna. So Uddhava is showing through the process of devotional service how one can achieve the ultimate favor of getting audience with the Supreme Lord. And Srila Prabhupada is mentioning that for Uddhava, it didn't matter Vaikuntha or no Vaikuntha. He was always with the Lord. The Lord is simultaneously both in Vaikuntha and everywhere within and without. So for Uddhava, it didn't matter this is the material world or it's Vaikuntha. He was with the Lord. So it gives us inspiration and hope that yes, if we follow the process to the T, then we are able to also get a similar award. We will be able. Lord has given a special concession for us here in Kali Yuga through the holy name, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And if we're able to attentively take the holy name of the Lord and keep it in our hearts, then this award of the Lord that He is giving to Uddhava is not very far for us as well. Hare Krishna. So I'll leave some time for some questions or comments. There are many senior Vaishnavas here present. If they want to add something. Okay. Okay. Yes, Prabhu. Hi.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for a very, very wonderful class, very nicely synthesized from our current state in this material world, full of distraction, full of, as you said, walking through the thumbs. That was quite interesting. And to the state of reality where we want to become prasanna, Brahma Bhuta Prasanna Atma, and then that too is very rare. I said 1 among 1,000. And that was quite interesting, the example of IAS that you shared, that so many lakhs of people apply, and then one of them, a few of them, they get to clear it. But then this appears like even tougher competition, because then Krishna says, Manusyanam Sahasreshu, out of thousands, some people, they get access, and that too Bahunam Janmanamante, after thousands of attempts. So it's a very tough competition, not a competition, but then that can become easy if we just have this one thing of eagerness to hear and chant, not worrying about the purification, but worrying about our eagerness. So if you could share some thoughts on how we can develop this eagerness.
Okay, very good question. How to develop this eagerness, this ruchi, katha ruchi, Vasudeva katha ruchi, how to develop the eagerness to hear about Lord Krishna. Sutta Goswami, actually before that verse of Shinvantam, he says how to develop the eagerness. He says, Shushrushro Shadadanasya Vasudeva Katharuchi Syan Mahat Sevaya Vipra Punyatirtha Nishevanat. So this the taste develops when we actually render service to the great devotees of the Lord. Mahat Sevaya. So Srila Prabhupada, clear example, his disciples also, the disciples of disciples. Yeah. There are many, many examples of devotees who are applying themselves very, very diligently to the process. So if we follow and we serve them, then we develop that taste to hear about Lord Krishna. Yeah. So what does it mean to serve Srila Prabhupada and his followers? That next question. Oh, Srila Prabhupada is not here. How do we serve him? What does it mean? Yeah. So it's not very complicated. Service means to follow instruction. There is Vani Seva and Vapu Seva. Vapu Seva means serve the physical body of the devotee, serve prasadam, maybe clean the room, etc. And if we're unable to do that, then the Vani Seva is there. Srila Prabhupada has given us instructions. If we follow the instructions, we're serving him. He's saying, chant your rounds, 16 rounds a day. If we do that, we're serving him. The mercy will flow. Yeah. Follow the 4 regulative principles. Read my books, Srila Prabhupada said. So if we do that, then the mercy will flow. That is service. Right? We are associating with Srila Prabhupada every time we read a purport. Whether it's in the Gita, whether it's in the Bhagavatam, whether it's in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Srila Prabhupada's association is there. And Srila Prabhupada has given us more than that. He has given us a society of like-minded people, devotees. We can come in their association, just like we're doing this morning, and get inspiration from each other, and serve each other physically and with the instructions, Vani. And in this way, that taste will come. So, service, following instructions of the spiritual master and the devotees is important to develop taste. Many times we find that after being some years in the movement, we know everything. We don't need to, do everything. This is for the new people, or this is for the, other class of devotees. And I know everything. I don't need to serve anyone. And that's where then we find that spiritual life stagnates. And then if we're not careful, from stagnation it can drop. Right? So therefore we always have to keep ourselves, reminding ourselves that we have to serve. And if we remind that, then the taste will always increase. The minute we forget we have to serve, then taste will stagnate and eventually taper off. That's okay. Any other questions, comments? Okay. Thank you very much. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu, for such a beautiful class. Let's express our gratitude to Sri Gauranga Prabhu by loudly chanting 3 times. Hari Bol. Hari Bol. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
I think we've